What's an example of something that, where you feel like, hey, I screwed up on in some way, and here's what I did to try to make it right.
So like the Airbnb advising thing, there was a season where that got really hairy because things were in flux. Like the city hadn't voted yet, but they were going to vote, and then amendments were made, and so I did have a buyer, and this is years and years ago, go under contract with what we thought was an approved Airbnb. And we did look at the HOA docs, but there was an amendment to the HOA docs that was
Wow.
online on a website. And so we just didn't go deep enough, and weren't thinking about amendments. And so, but we,
So you requested the docs from the condo association. They
yeah,
sent them to you, or you may have gotten them from the title company. It was one of those two.
yeah,
And you read it. You're like, oh, we're good. Never thinking, oh, they've amended this, but not
right.
included it
So
in
that
the full document.
particular community had a website that we didn't check. It was not the listing agent's fault. This was our fault, not the listing agent. And so we wound up like paying that client back for certain things that they had to spend money on because it was, we confidently went forward out of ignorance, and so that was just one of those. We owned it. I had to call the agent and humble myself and get them out of that contract. And we were able to, and get their money back. And we paid recoup, they incurred liquidated damages for our, so now we approach that very, very differently. But that would be an example of like making a huge mistake and then having to own it.
Yeah.
Move
Well,
forward.
it's also like you're demonstrating the concept of radical accountability.
Mhm.
It's just this, no matter what happens, be extreme in taking ownership of everything that's possible
Sure.
you could have done different,
Yeah.
you know?
Is that Jocko Willing? I feel like it is.
It I
Yeah.
think so. I'm not 100% positive, but I think it comes from his book.